Sacred Supplements is a family-owned and operated business established in 2015. We specialize in creating all-natural supplements that deliver supernatural benefits. Surpass the limits of modern medicine using the magic-like properties of monoatomic elements found in our one-of-a-kind, supercharged Ormus elixirs, Logos, Messiah, and Magi. Avoid toxic pharmaceuticals using the time-tested and medically proven healing powers of colloidal copper and colloidal silver, broad-spectrum remedies created to perfection and made with love. Enjoy the amazing detoxifying and energizing effects of Sacred Soleil, an affordable, all-natural, refillable energy drink with over 80 ionic minerals, plus electrolytes and loads of pure solar energy. Visit sacredsupplements.com today to order or to learn how to create these sacred gifts for your mind, body, and spirit. Check. Check one. Mic check. Now turn that up just a little bit. Right there. That's good. Telekinesis is a divine intervention between spirit and matter. This physical reality is an illusion made entirely of light and sound. This light is manifested in the forms of earth, water, fire, and air. Earth, water, fire, air. Physical matter contains just enough intelligence to hold itself into form. So the slightest energetic influence on a molecular level will cause a kinetic reaction. Matter is using the power of my mind to form an illusion of solidity. So from matter's perspective, I am God. Everything that exists in this dimension, including myself, is made of light. Therefore, my God is light. Nothing is solid. Nothing is still, nothing is permanent, nothing is real. Everything I see, hear, smell, taste, and feel is energy being interpreted by my mind via my five senses.
Five senses.
I am not my mind, I am not my body. All is one, and one is all. I am all that was and ever will be. I am an infinite, powerful being experiencing a limited and finite existence. Everything I've learned from duality and separation is but a half-truth. I am perfect, holy, and divine. I am perfect. I'm electric. I'm electric.
Holy.
I am magnetic.
And divine.
I am light, sound, and energy. I'm not learning telekinesis. I'm remembering it. I use empathy, focus, and energy. Reality is an illusion, and I am both the creator and the spectator.
I live in a matrix.
Of light and sound.
Sound.
The dormant portions of my brain are awakening now, and I have extrasensory perception. I am you, and you are me. All is one. Separation is a fantasy. My chakras are alive, healthy, and vibrant, giving me the freedom to project my energy beyond the confines of my body.
I live in a matrix.
Two streams of energy are flowing up and down my spine, like serpents on a stick.
Serpents on a stick.
I can expand my consciousness beyond my body. I can now feel what I see as if it is a part of me.
Feel what I see.
I can move things with my mind because my mind is creating all things.
Feel what I see.
I am my own teacher and preacher. I am in the know because I am in the now. The same intelligence that governs my bodily functions can be used to manipulate matter.
Telekinesis.
My subconscious and unconscious mind are wise, powerful, but elusive. Just as my mind naturally knows how to use my organs, so too does my mind know how to perform telekinesis.
Telekinesis.
All I must do is focus on my intentions and trust my mind to do the rest.
Telekinesis.
Trust my mind. Telekinesis is effortless because nothing is real and no physical force is required. It's okay if my targets move unintentionally or in the wrong direction,
Telekinesis.
because the connection is my primary objective. I am far more powerful than I once believed. I have no fear, no doubts, no worries. I am discovering the real me.
Real me.
I am perfect, powerful, and perceptive. Real me. I am confident, kind, and creative. I can move things with my mind.
Telekinesis.
I am the creator of space and time. Real me. I am the grape and I am the vine. I am the earth, the air, the water, and the fire. I am discovering the real me. The real me. I have no doubts, no fears or reservations, for life is an illusion of my own creation. All sights and sounds are simply vibrations. No wrong, no right, no separation. I am discovering
Telekinesis.
the real me.
No separation.
I am you and you are me, and all things in between.
No separation.
I am the wind, the rain, the sun, and the trees. I am in the ocean, the lakes, the rivers, and the streams. The real me. I am the co-creator
I am the
of
co-creator
my reality.
of my reality.
I am discovering the real me. What's up? I believe we are live. And I think, yeah, we're on YouTube. Awesome. I'm going to go check the comments on YouTube first, right off the bat, just to see if anybody is here. It is November 7th, time for another live stream. We're going to be talking about the proper mindset for doing telekinesis. This is live stream number 26, believe it or not. And it looks like we do have a few people watching. Hey, guys, thank you for being here. And if you are here, say something in the chat. I'll acknowledge that you are here. We have Luciano R17. Thank you for your streaming. Well, thank you for being here, man. If you guys didn't show up, I wouldn't be here. Who else we got here? That guy, Crypto, yeah, that thing, Commander. He's happy to be here, it looks like. Hey, I'm happy you're here too. Thanks, guys, for leaving a comment. I appreciate that. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the proper mindset for doing telekinesis, or really any psychic ability. Based on my experience, it's all kind of about the same. And we're going to pop over to telekinesisschool.com and review lesson number 2, which is all about the mindset. We have 3 lessons: empathy, mindset, and energy. Last live stream, we talked about empathy, and today is mindset. And then we're going to finish off the year with energy. I think that's appropriate. The last 3 live streams of the year were empathy, mindset, and energy, which is what it's all about in regards to psychic abilities anyway. Hope you all are doing well. Survived the big election. We got a Trump for president. I guess unless you live under a rock, you probably already knew that. And got some little life changes coming up for me, which may affect what day we do the live streams on next year or sooner. We'll see how that pans out, and I'll share the details about what's going on when I know a little more. But I think now we should probably just dig right in. And if I can remember how to do this, we shall go take a look at telekinesisschool.com. What else is happening? Oh, so I uploaded a video about Ormus. I was going to do a video, or I was trying to do that mind sight or whatever it is, where you try to see things without, while you're blindfolded or with your eyes closed or what have you. And I went to fire up my camera and it won't power up. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'm looking now for people who work on P900s, and I will go I probably have to send it off to get it worked on. But I do plan on getting some more videos of some demonstrations lined up for you in the very near future. Oh, let's see. Here we go. Lesson 2, Mastery of the Mind. Let's see. Make sure you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Yes, you are. Okay, this is telekinesisschool.com. Lesson numero dos. Mindset. So before we discuss our mindset, I think we should mention briefly the brain itself. Ormus, detoxification, proper hydration, meditation, and a diet of mostly raw organic food will improve brain function tremendously. Hard stop. I agree 100% with all that. I wrote this many, many years ago, but that is so true. It makes a huge difference too. The brain is literally made of what we eat, and its electrical activity is directly linked to our intake of real salt. You know how salt water is conductive. The same holds true for us internally. Use that white stuff, that sodium chloride or whatever most people have in their salt shaker, to kill weeds or slugs or something, and start eating Himalayan salt or a good Celtic sea salt or any real salt. You know, Himalayan salt has so many trace minerals in it. You're silly not to be consuming it. I consume it with sole. We cook with it. We season our foods with it. It's delicious. I have those little tiny rocks. If you've ever ordered sole from sacredsupplements.com, those little tiny crystal rocks that I put in the bottom of your bottle so you can just keep refilling it and refilling it for like 9 to 12 weeks or something. That's a pretty good buy there. $15 for 12 weeks of supplements. Those little crystals, sometimes I'll just grab one of those and pop it in my mouth and suck on it like candy or whatever. And it's good for suppressing hunger if you're fasting or something. Sometimes I'll do a little cheat with a little chunk of salt, which I did that last Monday. First Monday of every month, I usually do a 24-hour fast. And sometimes I'll take a little salt crystal. It's like a candy just to have some flavor or something in your mouth is nice. The brain is literally made of what we eat. And it's, I already read that one. The photograph on your right, I hope you guys can see that. Let me scram back up just a little bit. Illustrates the electrical activity of a man's brain before and after taking Ormus. And you can see a huge difference there. The balancing of the two hemispheres of our brain can also be achieved via meditation, playing a musical instrument, or just being artistically creative. So that's kind of a long way of saying, getting in the zone, so to speak, sort of like, we'll get to that. I think I addressed that here in a little bit. So perhaps the first step towards getting in the proper mindset is to stop believing and start knowing that TK is real. Yeah, and this whole paragraph is kind of about the analytical mind, which is something a lot of people have to overcome. If your deep core belief is that you are not capable of performing psychic abilities, that's going to be a big stumbling block for you. And part of the reason you believe that is because that's kind of what society and the education system and just the majority mindset of most people is that most psychic powers are not real. They're woo-woo stuff. So you kind of have to overcome that. And to help convince your logical mind that psi is real, I recommend you study the works of Dr. Dean Radin, which he's one of my favorites. That's why he's put first. He's got several good books out there. Dr. Robert Jahn, he was with Princeton, and the Global Consciousness Project. And there's links to all those right there on my website. So I highly recommend you go check those out if you're in the camp of psychic abilities don't exist or telekinesis isn't real or that type of thing. Or others, there's a lot of other, it's been scientifically validated and studied since like the late 40s or something. So anybody who thinks telekinesis hasn't been scientifically validated or documented, they're crazy. They don't know what they're talking about. These people can explain the physics and the mechanics of how TK works better than I. Quantum physicist, I don't know how much of that stuff is true. Quantum physics is kind of theoretical, a lot of it. have scientifically observed that matter is 99.999% empty space. And they've observed non-local interaction between, what does that say? It says particles, but I think it's supposed to say particles, which better explains why TK works. Studying these two fields of research may help you compare and validate your beliefs in TK. So like I said, if your core belief is, oh, it's never been documented, nobody thinks it's real, you're wrong. It has been, and I've got tons of links in regard to that, because when I first started, I got so much kickback every time I posted, oh, it's not real, it's that, people are just amazed that a guy can move a piece of paper or a foil with his mind. I'm like, come on, people, it's nothing. But they were like, oh yeah, you're doing this, your strings and whatever, all that, all that stuff. And that's because their left brain has been programmed to such a degree that they can't accept anything other than what they've been taught. So the proper mindset for telekinesis is sort of a trance-like state. But most people don't really know what a trance is or how to subdue their thoughts long enough to enter one. So we'll get into the specifics of this later. But every time you go to sleep and wake up, your brain goes through that state of mind that you need to be in for telekinesis. It's that relaxed, empty, not necessarily empty, but not focused or thinking about anything in particular, just kind of on open mode, sort of just thoughtless and emotionless, no emotions, and just kind of calm and not asleep, but not fully awake either, kind of like in a daze or a trance. This is why people who meditate, musicians, artists, athletes, often succeed at TK much sooner than others. These people are accustomed to entering a trance-like state. In meditation, we may call it Zen or bliss. A musician or athlete may call it getting in the groove or in the flow. It is a state of mind that seems to function effortlessly and intuitively rather than intentionally and logically. That's very well put. It's effortless, and which allows your mind to be open to your intuitive side. If your mind is cluttered, busy, or even focused intensely on one thing, that blocks out a lot of our access to our, especially like extrasensory perception type stuff, and but also psychokinesis in general. So we all enter a trance called the hypnagogic state right before we fall asleep. Another unintentional trance we experience is called zoning out or daydreaming or spacing out. Have you ever done that? Just find yourself kind of staring off whatever it is you're looking at, you're not really looking at, you're kind of seeing through it, or it's just not registering. You're just kind of, well, like they say, daydreaming or spaced out. That gets you in the right state of mind, which is the alpha. If we're talking about hertz, like from an EEG or something, it's the alpha stage of, I guess it's the oscillation of electrical activity in your brain is really what they measure. I think it's like, I don't know, 4 to 10 hertz or something. Not much activity going on there. Pretty inactive. And that's where you're at when you're falling asleep or when you first wake up. A huge part of entering a trance is shutting down our logical mind and relaxing our focal gaze into sort of a blank stare where everything in our vision becomes flat, evenly focused in 2 dimensions. So that's kind of the way I was just describing, how when you daydream, how you kind of just, if you're looking in a general direction, but you're not really focused on anything, everything is equally as vivid and sharp, or dull, actually, kind of just a blank, flat 2D image. And I know that that's more of a visual thing, but what we see with our eyes and what we see with our mind's eye has a lot to do with getting us in the right mindset. So if you're watching something that's really busy or something that requires your focused attention, you're not going to be able to get in the proper state of mind. So one way to practice this, getting your gaze right, is this Vesica Pisces, this little image right here. And you can learn how to set your gaze. And when you get it right, as I explain here, notice your powers of perception can make either the left or the right circle appear to be on top. This is the product of logical thought and bifocal vision. The point of this exercise is to soften and broaden your gaze so you see these two overlapping circles as one complete object. Distribute your focus evenly over the entire image, and it should begin to look like two opposing crescent moons. Maintain the two moons image as long as possible. Using your peripheral vision and doing this Vesica Pisces exercise daily will help you train your brain and your eyes for performing telekinesis. We don't see one thing, we see everything as one. I'm going to scroll back up so you guys can do that. Can you do it? Can you make it look like two opposing moons rather than overlapping circles? And just how long can you hold that? Can you do 10 seconds? I've literally spent hours looking at that thing. When I was first trying to learn how to meditate, we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's get through the rest of this. I believe our normal bifocal vision keeps our left brain engaged, which makes telekinesis difficult, if not impossible. Meditate often and practice relaxing and spreading your focus evenly every chance you get. These little tricks of the trade are not only the key to learning telekinesis, this gaze is used for many other psi-related skills as well. When in doubt, I often look for this dazed or blank stare in the eyes of a psychic practitioner to determine if they are legitimate. Normal eyes usually means no paranormal activity. And that's pretty true. If you look at people who are really doing, now I'm not talking extremely low level telekinesis, like hands around a psi wheel type thing, because I can do that and talk to people. I don't really have to be that focused anymore. Although I did have to be pretty focused at first. But anyone doing anything above spinning a psi wheel, just notice the expression on their face and the look in their eyes. They probably seem a little distant, very relaxed, and not extremely focused or anxious or anything. It's just kind of a very nonchalant, I don't care type of relaxation that allows this stuff to flow. And when I first started, I was always looking for inspiration. And when I watched somebody do something remarkable, I'm like, gosh, is that guy real or is this guy faking? And anyway, I started to notice the ones that I thought were real typically were the ones who looked a little bit relaxed and distant and not so upbeat and tense and focused and talking while they're doing that type of thing. I'm not saying you can't do that, but it's been scientifically proven that psychic activity happens at a certain range of brain waves, and it's that alpha, and alpha is not very focused. So anyway, like I said, it might not be true for everyone. This is based on my experience and a little bit of science backing it up. But just look for that dazed blank stare when you're trying to determine if a practitioner is legit. For many, maintaining the proper frame of mind during telekinesis is the most difficult part of the empathy mindset energy equation. Amen to that. And that amplifies the moment you turn on a camera. It took me forever to get used to having a camera going while I'm practicing. And I could spend several minutes talking to you about how I got over that, but everyone will find their own way around that. You'll find empathy becomes easier with practice, and there's plenty of ways to ramp up your energy, but logical thoughts and emotional reactions to our TK experience seem automatic or instinctual, but they're not. They can be subdued and controlled. As the craft itself will ultimately teach all practitioners, our ego-based thoughts, desires, and emotions are the three biggest stumbling blocks. So what are the three biggest stumbling blocks? our ego, what we think about ourselves, what we think other people are thinking about us, our thoughts, which could be, why won't this thing fall over? Why is it not turning? Or why is this? What am I doing wrong? Those kind of thoughts and desires. If you want to do it so bad, that can actually block you because that desire is keeping your emotions up, and you don't want that. You want to be just like you don't care. Like do it like you just don't care, like nobody's watching. I've said it before and I'll say it again. High energy, calm emotions, and low brain waves is the recipe for telekinetic success. TK is not a battle of human will and extreme mental focus versus matter, as preached by the charlatans, aka Hollywood and most people online. And it's not an uncontrollable freak of nature that happens when we are emotionally supercharged, as we see in Hollywood movies. I've never had any success when I'm really emotionally supercharged or really trying really, really hard. I never have had any success in that state of mind. And I don't know where that comes from. It makes for a good movie. Oh, you get mad and you can shatter glass and kill people. But in reality, it's quite the opposite. Based on my experience, telekinesis is a selfless and sacred act that requires us to transcend our ego, emotions, and thoughts so we can see and interact with reality from a unified perspective. Nothing is solid, nothing is still, nothing is separate, nothing is real. All is one. I used to chant that out loud and to myself a lot of times. Nothing is solid, nothing is still, nothing is separate, nothing is real. All is one. And the whole, nothing is solid and nothing is still, that comes from us examining matter. When it gets down to the very micro, everything is vibrating. I mean, we live in a world of vibration. The only reason we see anything anywhere is because it's being vibrated and held into our reality, I guess is what we call it. In a sense, it really is kind of a matrix. Now, not like the matrix on Hollywood or what have you, but life really is not quite what it seems. Nothing. That's why the nothing is real part comes in. Anyway, I highly recommend you visit this page, practice the image trance thing, and these are all solid tips. Like I said, I wrote this many years ago, and I stand behind every word of it. At the bottom, it says, "You were absolutely right, Trebor. I stopped trying and thinking so much, and now my psi wheel spins like crazy. I can't control the direction or speed, but I'm thrilled just to see it move." I know the feeling. Thank you for the tutorials and good advice, Dalton Davis. And there's plenty of more testimonies on that website as well. But that's kind of the gist of what we had at telekinesisschool.com. Trying to figure out how. Oh, okay, I already did it. Let's get rid of that. Okay. All right. Is anybody here? Let's go check the chat one more time. All right, we got a few more people here. Who we got? Who are the cool kids online this evening? Luciano R17, I watched too many horror movies earlier. Do you have any tips for fixing paranoia and anxiety? Stop watching horror movies. That'd be a really good start. Paranormal. Well, let me tell you this. 99% of our worries never come true. Just keep thinking about that every time you get paranoid about something. Think about how many times you've been paranoid about something and it never happened. So odds are whatever it is you have anxiety about or you're paranoid about, not going to happen anyway. So quit worrying about it. Fill your immediate circle with loving, unthreatening people, plants, pets, and situations. Let your mind get back relaxed. Our default mode should be trusting and loving, which are quite the opposite of being paranoid and having anxiety. Trust and love. Give a lot of love, receive a lot of love. Your mind and your emotions and everything will start to fall in place. And meditation is huge for that too. I don't know why it is to be in a wakeful state, but at a slow brain waves. There's something very healing to our mind, body, and spirit for being in that position. What else we got here? Moin together. I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. Moin. I don't know. I'm a stupid hillbilly. I don't know some words. Did you have a vote if there is no choice? I think you mean choice. Um, I I don't really like talking about politics, but I don't vote. I think it's determined by the Electoral College, and I think leaders are selected, not elected. But I don't know. This it looked like our voting really worked this time. I think the majority of people really did want Trump in there. Suze or So's says, "What's up, Trevor? Man, the live stream. That's what's up, man. We're hanging, we're chilling. All the cool people are here." I'm not sure how I say your name. Is it Shotten or Shatten? Maybe don't watch horror movies in the future. Lucy, yeah, darn good advice. Get off the horror movie. What else we got here? All day long. I forgot the context. What you're talking about. Josephine. Hey, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you joining us. A few years back, I was following Sean McNamara and learned how to move tinfoil under a glass mug. Recorded it for proof. Love this stuff. That's awesome. Yeah, Sean's a good teacher. He wrote a couple books. He even mentioned me in one of his books, but he's a really good guy and he has a good heart. And he's like me. The main thing is we just wanted to show this to the world and give a few tips so people like Josephine can discover the real truth experientially. So says, awesome. Yep, I think you're pretty awesome, especially for being here. Great that you're streaming this. I just resumed practicing a week ago. Yeah, I'm happy to do these streams. And I hope this new venture I got going on this winter doesn't interfere with this. But worst case scenario, we may have to move it to the 17th or the 27th or something. But I'm gonna try to keep these live streams on the 7th because it's important to stay interactive, I think, with subscribers. Most of my subscribers are very passive. They don't even watch the videos anymore. They just kind of, maybe if they see one every once in a while that interests them, they'll hit it. But this kind of keeps a little interaction between you guys and myself. And since I don't offer the one-on-one mentorship anyway, this is another way people who are trying to learn telekinesis can get some answers to questions, in real time, which I'm open to questions regardless of what the topic is we're talking about. Unless I have a guest that's focused on something in particular, I'm always open to questions about telekinesis. David Harbor says, I'm in the background listening. Big fan. Hey, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you. What's this one? Quester Maxim. Started getting into this stuff. I assume you mean psychic abilities. After I started meditating to help my depression and started experiencing the vibrations. I, however, was dependent on marijuana, and I'm pretty sure that stopped me. Cannabis used properly is not a bad thing. But the problem is most people who smoke marijuana smoke it all day, every day type thing. Or they use it as a recreational drug. But actually, if you use cannabis in the right way, as a sacrament, and you give blessings and you have good intentions, and you're not using it in a party atmosphere. If you're using it as an aid to your meditation or a pain relief or a mental relief, as long as you're not using it as a crutch, it can be very beneficial. There are obviously lots of medicinal properties of cannabis that are, we have an entire cannabinoid system. That is an internal system designed specifically for the delegation and use of cannabinoids. And Where do you get cannabinoids? You get it from the cannabis plant, either the hemp or the marijuana sativa plant. So yeah, our body is designed to use cannabinoids, but it's like anything else, all things in moderation, the middle path. What else? He also says, thank you for everything you do. Was curious to why you like the number 7. So 7 has been a very prevalent number in my entire life. Well, I'm the 7th of 7 children. Okay. So, and then everything that seems to happen to me happens on the 7th. I was married on the 7th, children are born on the 7th. The number 7 has been so prevalent in my life. And when I started research, just the numerology equivalence of the number 7 and its meaning, the 7 chakras, the 7 days of the week, the list goes on and on. 7 is just a very magical number for me. And I don't know, it just seemed like that's my number. Being the 7th son makes you kind of think about that a little bit. The lucky number 7, 7 come 11, it goes on and on. But yeah, it's just a very important number to me, and that's why I included it in my whatever you want to call it, my YouTube name, handle, avatar, whatever. Rabbit hole 13 or 3, however you say that. Hey, not to go off topic, but you are my main source of Magi level Ormus, and I'm very grateful for the quality and availability of it. Dude, I am very grateful for you for saying that and for using my Magi. That is the top of the line. That's the stuff I put the most money, time, and effort into making. I myself am a Messiah fan. That's what I use every day. But I have a bottle of Magi right there, and sometimes it's my secret weapon. If I'm having trouble meditating or anything like that, I'll turn to some Magi because it kind of seems to tune me right in. So he's talking about ordering Ormus from sacredsupplements.com, which now you don't need PayPal to order. How about that? And I'm considering making it available on some other platforms. I just don't want to. My thing is, like, to sell on Amazon, you have to send them like 100 bottles. Well, I don't ever have 100 bottles. I make small batches, and I usually sell almost the exact same amount I make. I've got a lot of regular customers, and I get new people streaming in and out all the time. But usually the supply and the demand are neck and neck. So it's not like I have an excess amount of Ormus laying around. And secondly, I'm very particular about the way it's handled and stored because Ormus is like a magnet to intentions, and it's very fragile to light and EMF and extreme temperatures. And I just want to make sure when you order Sacred Ormus, you get it fresh, you get the best I can make, and you get it quickly and safely. It's well packaged and all that stuff. So that's the reason I've always been just kind of exclusively selling only at sacredsupplements.com. But I'm looking into a couple other venues where I might be able to do like a drop ship type thing or something. Again, thanks again for ordering your Magi and for your kind words. All right, one more, and we're going to get back to the topic at hand. I've never had Ormus before, but I looked into it. Does it decalcify your pineal gland? I'm told yes. Would it affect my dream recall? Most definitely. Yeah, dream recall. That's one of the biggest things Ormus did for me. I didn't have a lot of dream recall, and I was 0 for 10 on lucid dreaming and stuff. Until I started taking Ormus. And that's one of the main things I hear people say. I slept like a baby and have the most vivid dreams. So yeah, if that's what you're looking for, sacredsupplements.com, get you some Ormus. Or there's the tutorial page or a video page with a tutorial. You can learn how to do that. All right, we'll pop back to the chat here. Remember, I will be at Sarah Breslin. I hope that's how you say that. That's where we'll come back. But I have a couple other things I wanted to share with you. Let me get that pulled up. And again, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. If nobody shows up, guess what? I will quit doing these streams. I'll drop it like a hot rock. But as long as you guys are enjoying it, and you guys that watch it after the words, that's important too. I really appreciate you guys as well, which seem to be the vast majority. We usually only have a handful. For example, we got 10 people watching right now. But that's 10 cool people, 10 quality watchers. Thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate it. All right, let's go back. Let me pause this. Do and share screen. Oh, I guess I got to stop that one first. And where's my button? Present. There we go. All right, so we're going to look at the little bit of information about the alpha brainwaves. Oh, make sure that loaded for you guys. Yes, it did. And this is at healthline.com. What does it say? Alpha brainwaves. Yeah, that's what it's talking about. I was wanting to get the hertz and specifics for all the nerds out there who want to know this kind of stuff. But what I spoke about earlier is the real deal. It's just kind of a trance-like state. So I'm just going to browse through this. EEG, that's how they measure it. What are the benefits of alpha waves? Okay, you may be wondering why alpha waves are so important. When your brain is producing these waves, it responds to activity like meditation and rest that can reduce your stress levels and help you feel calmer. There you go. We were just talking about that, how to reduce anxiety and stuff. Meditation. Hang out in that alpha zone. That's where it's at. If you're able to produce alpha brain waves, you're probably able to tap into a state that can help you get some rest and relaxation. Boosting your alpha waves might also increase your creativity levels. In 2015 study, researchers found evidence that they could trigger a surge in creativity if they specifically focused on enhancing alpha waves. that, that kind of seems funny. Just the way they said that. Focusing on enhancing alpha waves, because alpha waves are the opposite of being focused. But anyway, okay, the study was small, only 20 participants, but as a randomized trial, it could hold promise for the use of non-invasive brain stimulation to rev up your brain's production of alpha brain waves. Again, poor choice of words. You don't rev up your brain, you're trying to calm it down. What happens if alpha waves are interrupted or out of balance? So making sure that's not too long. I just wanted, but go ahead. We got time. Your brain doesn't stop producing one type of brain waves just because you shift into a different state of consciousness or alertness. It's more that one type of brain wave will dominate at any given time based on whether you're awake or asleep, focused or floating along. If for some reason your brain isn't producing very many alpha waves, it means that you're not in a relaxed, meditative state of mind. But there are times when your brain waves can become imbalanced. Research indicates that some people who have depression may have an imbalance of alpha waves, with more of them occurring in an area of the brain called the left frontal cortex. A small study in 2019 looked at a brain stimulation technique called transcranial alternating current stimulation and found that it could increase alpha brain waves and reduce depression symptoms in people affected by major depressive disorder. So there you go. It's all about the brain waves, but you don't have to use machines or anything. You can do meditation. You can, whatever, like I said, whatever puts you in that trance or that zone. For me, it's meditation and drumming. I can get lost in a rhythm of a drum. Pretty soon it feels like not me playing anymore. just becomes automatic. And sometimes I'm more of a spectator than a participant when it comes to playing drums, if I can get into that trance-like state. And I'm not talking about on stage with a band. That's a whole different thing. But I can just sit down with a darbuka or a djembe or whatever and just kind of get into a trance, get into that alpha wave thing just by playing some drums. Is there a way to produce or increase your alpha brain waves? You may actually be able to increase your alpha brain waves if you put your mind to it. Oh, how clever. A 2014 study found that neurofeedback training helps some people with generalized anxiety disorder. Neurofeedback is a type of biofeedback where you respond in real time to the electrical activity in your brain and try to adjust it. In this study, participants with GAD were divided into a treatment group and a control group. The treatment group that underwent neurofeedback training was able to increase the amplitude of their alpha brain waves. These bigger alpha waves increased the participants' sense of calm and reduced feeling of anxiety. Yeah, there's different levels of the uh, alpha, and so you can do this in the lower beta and the upper alpha range is where TK works the best. In other words, you can be a little bit aware and cognitive and normal brain function and still do some telekinesis, but you can't be extremely focused on a target and expect stuff to work. That's not how it works. One caveat, this particular study also included theta waves in the neurofeedback training, which could have also played a role. Now, I think theta is a little too deep for psychokinesis, but maybe not. However, this study also suggests that it may be possible to train your brain to produce alpha waves that can help you feel more relaxed. Also suggests the meditation and mindfulness training could achieve these kinds of results. Yeah, I'm going to give you some links to some resources that I used early on in my meditation when I was developing my meditation skills. That'll be greatly helpful. So don't run off. I've got more stuff to share with you after this. The bottom line, that's what we're always looking for, isn't it? There's always some type of electrical activity going on in your brain, whether you're aware of it or not. At different times of the day, depending on what you're doing, one type of your brain's electrical waves will dominate. When your brain's alpha waves are dominating, you're likely in a state of wakeful relaxation. That's where you want to be, right there. Relaxation techniques like mindfulness and meditation may help increase your alpha waves. This in turn may help you feel calmer, less anxious, and according to some studies, may even boost your creative levels. Yep, that's some pretty good stuff right there. Good info. That's where we want to be. The old alpha. Alpha brainwaves is the place to be. Let's see what else. Since I mentioned the links, I'm going to go ahead and hit over there right now. You can see it on screen, and I will also put this link into the chat Ruski, which we are headed back there now. Get this beautiful girl on our screen while we go back to the chat. Here we go. And if memory serves, we were at Sarah. Oh, real quick, before I forget, let me put this link in here. Boom. EdgarCasey.org. And if you just go to that menu, see that menu there on the right? Oh, you probably can't see my mouse, but on the right, there's a menu of topics and a huge list of interesting stuff. Let's just browse through this real quick. I'll be back in a second, Sarah. Ancient Mysteries, Ask Edgar, Astrology, Book Reviews, Dreams, Earth Changes, Edgar Casey Readings, Energy Work, Enlightenment Series, Ghosts in the Afterlife, Holistic Health, Intuition, Meditation and Prayer, Prosperity, Psychic Phenomena, Reincarnation, Spiritual Growth, Universal Laws, Unsolved Mysteries, Wellness Wednesday, and Edgar Casey Archives. Now, if those topics don't interest you, you're nothing like me. I can tell you that because I've spent hours and hours on that website. In fact, I went and looked for a couple articles I read, gosh, I don't know, 8-10 years ago, and I can't find them anymore. But the articles I read while I was looking for them were equally as good. So it's a win-win. All right. Let's go back. Let's find Sarah. Sarah. Now you know why I'm a drummer and not a singer. Holy moly, where'd that go? There she is. Whew. Sarah says, Trebor, much love. Much love to you. Thank you very much. You're a kind soul. Thank you for being here. Rabbit Hole says, it beautifully supercharges your lighter etheric bodies and makes you very in tune. I think you're referring to the Ormus, aren't you? But yeah, it's like food for your soul, man. It's like consuming light is what I kind of describe it as. your body just kind of brightens up and feels a little bit lighter and a little bit better. And I tell you what, if you take it every day for a year or more, you'll start seeing some crazy stuff. I just had a guy email me, oh, what's his name? Ben something. Uh, a tooth that had been missing for like 8 years or something started growing back. He's like, what the flip's going on? Well, he's been taking Ormus for almost 3 years now. He's like, I feel better. I look younger and everything, but I wasn't expecting to regrow teeth. He said, that's crazy. My dentist was like, how is this happening? He said, I didn't even want to mention Ormus, so they're going to think I'm crazy. Yeah, if you take Ormus every day for a long period of time, you shall become a new and improved you. It will super sensit and super sensitive. That makes way more sense. Super sensitive. Wake your connection to plants' energy and you'll feel it invisibly. Yeah, and I tell you what, plants and animals and children, anything that hasn't been brainwashed or anything, can sense that the presence of Ormus or ORMs, orbitally rearranged monatomic elements, in your system. And it's like, I don't know what it is, but I've had lots of people say that, I take Ormus and now like the birds and squirrels will come right up to me and stuff. Well, part of it's not just your state of mind that you're in from taking Ormus, because it kind of puts you in that alpha state, that meditative state, but it's also just having the ORMs in your system. I have a place out by my lagoon where I dump my Ormus rinse water, the first 3. Now, the last 2 rinses I give to my plants because there's ORMs in that stuff. But the first 3 are pretty salty, and they're not really good for humans or plants or anything. And I could just dump it on the ground, it'd be fine, but I'm trying to be respectful to the environment, so I dump it out by my lagoon. But then later you'll see squirrels or rabbits or birds or other critters hanging out where you dump that Ormus water, just because there's a little bit of ORMs in it. And I don't know what it is. Salt water doesn't have much of a smell to it at all, but somehow they know it's there and they're attracted to it. Got a really good batch of Ormus. I'm getting the final rinse on tomorrow. Looking forward to trying some of that. Sarah, you said it correct. I think you're referring to your last name, probably. Good deal. Honestly, man, the work you put in and the proof you put out there is appreciated, and I can't really put into words how important it is. Well, thank you, man, for saying that. Yeah, because sometimes I feel like I'm just spinning my wheels, doing the same thing over and over again, and people who don't believe won't believe, and the people who do believe will continue to believe, and I'm not really doing anything. But I keep picking up subscribers. I keep getting feedback from people and just comments like that and stuff, it makes a big difference, keeping people motivated and everything. I'm happy to do it, man. I feel like this was my my life path, was to just kind of share, let everyone know that being psychic is normal. It's not something paranormal. Uh, every soul has, that's kind of what separates us from the rest of the animals. We have a soul, and that every soul is capable of psychic abilities. And I'm happy just to be kind of like the freshman recruiter to get people to open the door and at least give it a shot. You know what I mean? He says, thank you. Well, thank you. My pleasure. And what else we got here? Rabbit Hole says, it helped me deeply connect with the weather, which is or was already a heavy daily practice to bring rain, wind, love, sun, see how the trees are feeling, activity listing. Yeah, it does connect you with the environment. And like I said, animals and plants and all that stuff as well. But the weather and the wind, our spirit, our breath is our internal spirit, and nature's spirit is the wind. So just being out in the wind and practicing aerokinesis, that's a very spiritually uplifting and enlightening and beneficial practice. So that's cool that you're into doing that. What else we got here? You ever have one of them days when you're just thirsty all the time? Some days you're hungry all the time. Some days you're thirsty. I've drank so much distilled water today, but I'm still thirsty. I don't know. I guess I did a fast Monday. Maybe I got some toxins hanging out that I still need to get rid of. Let's see. Try TK in a closed door or indoor. TK does not affect or very, very minimum. Why is that? Try TK in a closed door. Okay. So we're using ambient energy a lot of times until you've built up, like if you're not doing energy work and taking Ormus and eating, plant live foods and stuff, you don't have a ton of chi. So what little success you're getting is probably you interacting with the ambient energy. In other words, there's a little bit of airflow for you to manipulate. It's way easier to influence a movement than it is to initiate a movement. So just the slightest little airflow. I mean, maybe it's so weak that you can't even feel it, but just having some air in there uh, makes a world of difference. It makes it so much easier. And you really have to have quite a bit of chi. I mean, you don't have to be a chi master or anything, but you have to have quite a bit of chi to do something, particularly like a concealed container or just in a room with all the fans, exhausts, and windows, everything shut down, just a dead room, so to speak. It takes quite a bit of your own chi to initiate that. Now, it seems like once you get the hang of it and start moving things, you're just kind of cycling source energy rather than generating all your own energy and expelling it. Once you kind of get into the groove, and it's kind of like using a muscle you've never used, things get easier, and pretty soon it becomes muscle memory, that type of thing. Once you do TK for quite a while, it kind of seems like you tap into that source energy. But we're going to do a deep dive into the energy aspects of this in the upcoming live stream next month. Alpha waves increasing creativity levels makes sense. I notice the best ideas in creative flow state often come in bed. Definitely want to learn to channel it at will. Yeah, so true. And I don't know if you've ever done this, but you rack your brain all day trying to think of something like the name of an old friend, or it could be anything, a password or whatever. And then when you quit trying to think about it, particularly like at night as you're kind of unwinding or something that just pops into your head. Yeah, that's the power of the alpha right there. You can access different portions of your, I don't know if you want to call it memory. They've kind of decided that our memories are really stored elsewhere. They're not really in our brain. Again, back to the Matrix analogy, or just avatars are really our hard drive exists somewhere else. We're just kind of the software, so to speak. What else we got here? Well, I appreciate you guys chatting. That always makes the stream so much better. Indoor energy is on a different activity level than an already charged and slightly differentiated system. Yeah, compared to outdoors, yes, I agree. The outdoor energy is abundant and endless, and indoor energy is sort of what you make it. Now, at Trebor7.com, I can give you some tips on how to improve the energy in your room. There are things you can do that may seem a little woo-woo, hence the reason I put them into the private side of my teachings at Trebor7.com. But there's some things you can do to ramp up the energy in your room. I don't know if it would be as effective as being outdoors, but comparable if you do it correctly. And then, like I said, once you get to learning how to manipulate energy and you start emitting positive energy just from being, physically, mentally, and emotionally sound, you vibrate at a different level. And when you hang out in a room, that will change the vibration of the entire room. I'm sure you've all experienced that. Walk into a room right after someone's been arguing and you just kind of feel that thick negativity. Well, the opposite works too. Someone who's in a loving, uplifting environment, when you come in, you just kind of feel good for no obvious reason. I'll do a couple more here. These chats keep rolling in, but I want to get through the rest of our topic too. From wind, air pressure to magnetic energy and pressure conditions, friend. Yeah, all that stuff is abundant outdoors. All right, so we'll be back to rabbit hole, and it starts out, you can still put a glass bowl. Okay. All right, back to the Edgar Casey. So now I'm not going to read through, this is a very long thing, but we'll kind of browse through this and we'll talk about it a little bit. And I'll give you some my tips on meditation. Of all the meditation techniques I've learned and practiced over these many years, none has been as effective as Edgar Casey's passage in consciousness technique. Our free online meditation course has a diagram of some of the steps, and the link to those pages are included. With a little practice, we can deeply attune ourselves to God and retain that essence, energy, and vibration in our daily lives. So, this is really what I'm going to show you. That here's the link right here. This is where my meditation journey started. And here's some basic steps that tell you how to get started, about from selecting a place to do it. And the stretching is very important. I do a little stretching routine before I meditate, because meditation also is about not just relaxing the mind, but also the body. And if you're holding tension anywhere in your body, be it your wrists and fingers from being at a computer, or your back from lifting, or your legs from standing, or whatever it is, it's very beneficial to get that kind of loosened up, maybe a hot bath, a massage, or stretching, whatever it is that can kind of get that tension out of your body, because part of getting into the right state of mind is being able to kind of disconnect from your physical sensations. Like I said, I don't want to go through all this. There's a lot of stuff, but it goes through the breathing exercise, which is in through the left, out through the right nostril type thing, getting in a relaxed position. I tell you, oh, this is kind of important. One thing he says, and I found this too beneficial. One of my best or favorite ways to meditate is lying down. However, you have to be able to overcome unconsciousness. You can't fall asleep. But one of these tips here, um, where does it say that about? Gosh, I scrolled too far. Where is it? Anyway, what it says is, if you're going to lay down and meditate, you need to place your hands over your solar plexus. That's kind of your belly area between your navel and your nether regions. Place your hands over the solar plexus when you do that. And I found that kind of helps keep you awake too. And I don't know why that is, but Edgar Casey was very intuitive and spot on most things. So if you're going to do it laying down, practice that, placing your hands over your solar plexus. But anyway, like I said, this is a big, long list. It tells you how to get into the meditative state, how to meditate, how long to meditate, what you should do before and after you meditate, and that type of thing. Again, the link is in the description, or for those of you just listening with not access, it's content.edgarcasey.org, and it's under the About Us part. This is Edgar Casey Deep Meditation Method. You can find it. If you use the meditation link over here on this side right here, it'll get you where you want to go. And like I said, there's so many other things. This one's a good click. Psychic phenomena. Not real fond of the, well, I'm not going to mention any negative stuff. I loved pretty much everything on here. So if you're looking for some good info in psi related, and not just psi, see, when you work on being psychic, you're also improving your health, because part of being psychic is having a sound mind, body, and spirit. So once you start working on that, what do you know? The rest of your life starts falling into place. It's like a bonus for taking care of yourself. All right, I think that's it as far as the main topics I wanted to cover. Now, I want to give you a couple little tips about meditation and about how not to focus. That's one of the most popular questions I get. What are you thinking about when you're doing telekinesis? Not much, as little as possible. If you can't think about nothing, think about one thing. So one of my tricks to meditating, I had a pretty busy mind, a lot of mind chatter when I first started meditating. Close my eyes, my mind would just go all over the freaking place. Future, past, present, just thinking about piddly stuff or big picture stuff or important stuff or scary stuff, and you kind of just have to learn to let your mind do it. Just go ahead, think about whatever. Go ahead, keep going. Okay, now you're thinking about money. Okay, now you're thinking about Thanksgiving. Okay, whatever. Just wait till it kind of tires itself out. But that can be a very long and drawn out process, especially for people with busy minds. And if you didn't do some of the things that Edgar Casey recommended, the breathing exercise, the stretching, and these type of things that are kind of getting you in the zone for meditating, you might sit there for 30 minutes and never get one moment of true meditation. So here's a little trick I learned. So I go ahead and let my brain run for a while and let the major thoughts, come and go. Just observe them coming and going. Just say, okay, you thought about that. But after you do a little bit of that, focus on an image. And this could be anything, particularly a simple image or a single image. For example, a shape, a triangle. I don't know. You could use a number or a letter. I'll give you one guess what I use. I use the flower of life symbol. And so you just picture your symbol or whatever it is that you have for your single image and go ahead and focus on it. Look at the details, look at the proportions, look where's the center of this object, what is the meaning of this object. Go ahead and just observe it and analyze it and think about it and keep it on a solid background, whatever background works for you. I like a black background and a white image. And just keep focusing on it. And after your brain kind of gets used to it, a little bit bored with what you're looking at, start visualizing yourself zooming out and making this thing get further and further and further and further from your view until it just barely just disappears from sight and you're stuck with your black background. That's where you want to be. You already tricked your visual, your imagery, your imagination and everything into things going into the void. And if you start to come out of it, just go back to your image, zoom back out until you get your mind into that emptiness. And if you can't reach empty, stick with it. Leave your image really small and just keep focusing on the teeny tiny image. Because I tell you what, focusing on one thing is as close as you can get to focusing on nothing. So there's a little tip for you newbies new to meditation. And meditation seems boring, but it's quite beneficial. And once you get good at it, you'll want to do it. It's extremely helpful. All right. Looks like we've been about an hour. So I'm going to go back and hit the chats and we will finish this thing, wrap it up, land the plane, call it a day, pee on the fire, call in the dogs. Where was I? It helped me deeply. I read that one. Alpha waves. Yep. Indoor energy. We talked about that. Here we go. Excuse me. Found our spot. You still can put a glass bowl and hang foil from a string under it and still cooperate with the living foil matter to build stronger and stronger bonds with your environment and to get strong. Yeah. I'm not saying it can't be done under glass. And in fact, I recommend anyone who practices telekinesis to at least accomplish that once or twice. But in my book, that is not necessary you're just trying to convince yourself, you're not using strings and assistance and whatever, people might think it might be coincidence or what is that one a lot of people like? It just falls on its own. If you balance something, eventually it'll just fall on its own. No, it won't. I've got rocks that have been balanced for like years out in the woods, places where I meditate and stuff. That's not true. But yeah, you can do stuff under glass and stuff. That's true. Trebor, do you know about the Rife machine? Absolutely. I don't have one and I've never experienced one, but I've looked into it and I think it's a real deal. It's helped me greatly with these frequencies. Did you find one that's reasonably priced? Because they're kind of expensive, or they were years ago when I started looking at them. There's that link. I'll show that just for the heck of it. That link that I shared. Love Casey. Yeah, Edgar Casey was a selfless, intuitive healer. If you haven't looked into his work, check him out, man. He was the real deal. Now, he's kind of heavy into the religious part of it. So if that part turns you off, you can just kind of ignore that and take in the stuff you love. I don't know what that one means. It says, it's just an emoji. Okay. Rabbit says, exactly. Sue says, if you're open to saying, what's your definition of a soul when you say that animals don't have one? I didn't say animals don't have one. But the soul, the portion of you that continues on after death. I don't know. It's slightly different than your spirit. I think your soul is something that existed before you were born and exists within you and will exist after you die. You know what soul means, the internal part of us. And I think perhaps animals have a soul to some degrees, but I don't think they're quite as advanced as a human soul. Mint in very warm room. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's controversial. I don't know. I've worked in cold rooms. In fact, the place where I do most of my practice doesn't have a heating element or a vent or anything. It was originally a garage. So I often practice in the cold. Well, practicing that mind sight thing, I think I mentioned it. And I, I watched and read a couple little things online and tried to use what they said. But as with most psychic abilities, learning it's really an inside job. And I just kind of reverted back to what I learned from ESP cards. And maybe that's different, but I'm still just seeing stuff in a flash. I'm not seeing it. I don't think I'm really doing it right, but I'm having some success with it. So I was going to share what little dab of success I had, but I can't get my camera started. Sorry, I forgot to say oh, yeah, we just read that one. Couple more, then we're going to shut her down. What else we got here? How long do you recommend we spend on energy practice before doing TK? My entire energy routine, that includes the stretching part and the qigong, is like 25 minutes. But I think you can do it in a lot less than that. I've done it with just stretching only and stuff like that. I don't think there's any set thing, but mine's usually around 20 to 25 minutes. Quester Maxim ordered the Magi. I just saw an order come in through my email notification. That's probably you. It'll be shipped to you tomorrow and it'll be well packaged. And when you get it, it will be in good condition. Thanks for your order, man. Appreciate it. sacredsupplements.com. There's still a bit much, but there's amazing microscopic videos showing the frequency destroying bacteria. Okay. You lost me. I don't know what we're talking about. Sorry. I appreciate you, Trevor. Much love. Oh, same to you. Much love to all of you. Okay. Thanks for input. It says, you're the man. No, you're the man. And a big thank you. Well, thank you to all of you. Oh, hey, by the way, one more thing we're going to end on. I forgot to do joke of the day. Gotta go back. Where's my banners? I don't remember what I put in, but it's a good one because I'm a funny guy. We're going to end with a little joke. Here it is. What kind of pants do psychics wear? Paranormal pants. What'd you expect? Of course, just paranormal pants. All right, man. I appreciate you guys being here, and I'll be back if things go well. I'll be back here again on the 7th of next month, and we'll talk about energy. In the meantime, take good care of your body. Follow your spirit. Open your mind. There's magic inside. Peace out, y'all. Thanks for being here.